How would you define a man's right to choose?
Limited, if not non-existent. Probably non-existent.
If there is an unplanned pregnancy and the woman chooses to have the child over the objection of the father,
should that man be forced into fatherhood against his wishes?
I never consented to have this child.
When it comes to choosing whether a child is going to be brought into the world or not, things are as unequal as it's possible to get. I first raised the issue publicly on the set of the Phil Donahue talk show in October of 1988.
The reason that men should have reproductive choice is that women have reproductive choice. It's that simple.
I said, are you safe? Are you sure you're safe? Are you sure you're not going to get pregnant? She said, yeah, I'm safe.
She messaged me a year later and said, you have a daughter who is 3 months old.
I was a nervous wreck. I was depressed and anxious. I was forced into fatherhood. 11 years.
All I see in this from the men's point of view is, they want to have all the fun and none of the responsibility.
I do believe that men should have the ability to choose to be a father.
if he really didn't want this child, had been clear that he didn't want this child, then he shouldn't have to have this child.
You can't have equality in a relationship if you don't have equal choice.
Tonight we're going to further explore the lawsuit that's been dubbed Roe v. Wade for men.
Roe versus Wade for men.
When 24-year-old Matt Dubé found out that his ex-girlfriend was pregnant, he says it made no difference that he did not want to be a father.
I felt for him. I felt really bad for him.
It's hard to say, to tell you the truth, what really happened. I don't know whether she lied.
She encouraged him to not use protection.
I don't know about any laws that currently favor men who do not want to be fathers. And the manner by which they could do that is some kind of legal contract.
The simple term is called paper abortion, where a male decides at the very beginning whether or not he wants to be considered the father of a child.
I think what men are arguing for in those cases is to be absolved of the moral and legal responsibility.
Consent to sex is not consent to procreation.
I absolutely think that there should be such laws in the same way that I support abortion rights for women.
It's only in the case where the sperm is truly taken without your permission that a man should be absolved of parental responsibility.
You know, I didn't know that a man could be sexually assaulted by a woman.
What is at stake is women's freedom. Our freedom to make our own decisions. Our freedom to decide when and how many children we are going to have.
Our freedom to decide when and how many children to have. Why should I not be entitled to that too? What's the reason? We don't have equality between men and women.
Focusing on women's rights has nothing to do with men's rights. We're talking about individuals' rights.
Yes, it's her body, but it's his next 20 years.
I have been lied to, I have been set up, I got trapped.
He's going to be hit for a child support obligation based on, he's been laid off from work, based on the money he was making before he was laid off.
The legal system that deals with child support is run by judges and people in courthouses, and they know one way of doing things.
Do you think you will go to jail?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no compassion in the system. It treats people as criminals.
In general, the law is not a very good guide to morality.
Good morning. We're coming on the air with breaking news from the Supreme Court at this hour. The justices handing down the highly anticipated ruling on abortion and the fate of the landmark Roe versus Wade decision.
Roe v. Wade was a milestone for women's rights in the United States. It is being set back.
I think that this debate about Roe versus Wade is an opportunity to reset the debate.
Consent to sex is not consent to procreation.
You play, you pay.
They wouldn't ever say that to a woman.